So the Memphis Grizzlies and the Cleveland Cavaliers in this one. And the Grizzlies with a good road victory, 101-91 with a big win. And the Grizzlies now go to 4-6, and the Cavs fall to 5-6. We'll go to the box score here. Jonas Valanciunas, 12.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 of 10 from the field. And Jonas, he's been a good player this season for fantasy owners. He's getting the job done. He's been a walking double-double most of the season, and the only concern for him coming into every year is health. But so far, he's been healthy, and hopefully he stays putting up big numbers and healthy this year. Kyle Anderson, he's been a pickup over the last few weeks here for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he almost had a triple-double in this one with 8.6 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 of 5 from the field, 4 or 6 from the line. So Anderson, he should be owned in every fantasy league pretty much, even though he's been struggling of late. But there's nights like this where he could put up a full box score and stats for your fantasy team, and he's playing the major minutes. Ja Morant, he won't be back anytime soon, or Jaren Jackson. So Anderson and Brandon Clark, they're going to get major minutes at the forward position. Speaking of Brandon Clark, another pretty decent game for him here. 29 minutes of play, 15 points, 4 boards, and assists, 7 of 13 from the field. But he went 0 from 2 from downtown. So Clark, he's going to be up and down this season, but he's getting the playing time, and he was a player drafted in about 8th or 9th round of most fantasy drafts this season. And Clark, so far, he's putting up pretty good value. He's going to give you rebounds. He's going to score the basketball, and he'll get you about an assist or 2 a game. And this Grizzly team, they probably won't make the playoffs this season. So it's more playing time for these young kids. Dillon Brooks in this one, 33 minutes, 21.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 of 15 from the field, 7 for 8 from the line, but only 2 for 8 from downtown. So Dillon Brooks, he's been stepping up of late here. Ever since Morant went down, his scoring and his stats have gone up. So Brooks, he's a player who should be owned, obviously, in a majority of fantasy leagues. He's getting the job done right now, and he's a good player to have at the back end of your roster to help your team and help you win categories and weeks in head-to-head leagues and points leagues. So Brooks, he's going to get major minutes this season. Even with Morant coming back, say, in 2 or 3 weeks, I don't think it'll affect him that much. So he's a solid play. Tyus Jones in this one, he had a pretty good game. 13 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 for 9 from the field, 1 for 1 from downtown. So Jones, obviously, he's been filling in for Morant now the last few weeks since he's been down with injury. But Jones, he's a player that's been up and down, and only in deeper leagues I think he's worthy of a roster spot at this time, unless he has more good performances like he did tonight with the 13 points and 7 assists. So if Jones, he could be solidified and he could be legit at the point guard spot with putting up numbers consistently, he's worth the roster spot. So for now, I would keep him on the watch list. And if he could pile up a few more games like this, then I would go out there and add him. Desmond Bane in this one, he's the 6th man coming off the bench this season, especially with the injury to Ja Morant. 20 minutes, 9 points, 4 boards, 2 assists. So Bane, he's not going to do much but help you in points and 3-point shooting, but he's a low-end type of guard. And right now, I would only add him in 14 to 16 team leagues. He's not having a much value or production right now to be owned in 10 and 12 team leagues. Melton, he had a decent game, 18 minutes of play, 8 points, 2 boards, 2 dimes, 3 of 7 from the field. He's not on the radar yet. Tillman, 17 minutes, 8 points, a rebound, 2 assists. Him either. And Grayson Allen, 17 minutes with 7 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. And out of the Cleveland side of things, Andre Drummond, what a monster he's been this season all year. Speaking of a walking double-double, he's the definition of one. 19 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 assists for Drummond, 8 of 16 from the field. But the troubling part, and it's always been a problem for Drummond, 3 of 9 from the foul line. And this guy, some weeks, he's going to hurt your free throw percentage and your turnover rate. So that's the only down thing with Drummond, but he's going to get you tons of points, rebounds, and blocks. So if somehow he could produce and be better at the foul line, he's going to be a top 20 player the rest of the season. Larry Nance Jr., Pretty decent game for him in this one. 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 7 from the field, and he even added 3 for 3 from downtown. So Larry Nance, you know he's going to have fantasy value as long as Kevin Love is out this season. So I like the job he's doing this year as Nance. He's going to play. He's going to score the basketball. And he played 38 minutes in this one. So Love, I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. And this Cleveland team, it's probably going to be another rebuilding year. And they're going to rely on Nance for big minutes. Coming off the bench is starting. C.D. Osman, 33 minutes, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 of 13 from the field. And he added 3 threes. The thing with Osman, I got to see more out of him. He'll have a good game like he did tonight. And the next game, he'll have 2 or 4 points and shoot 10% from the field. So Osman, you got to wait and see on him. Consistency's been a problem for him over the last few seasons. So if he could get the consistency, he could then get a roster spot in 10 and 12 team leagues. Damien Dodson, the former Knick, another decent game for him here. 37 minutes of play, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 6 dimes, 6 of 14 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. So Damien Dodson, when we've seen in his career so far, him getting chances to play, he puts up decent stat lines. And right now, this team, they're all banged up with the injuries to Darius Garland. Sexton's out again in this one. He was out. Porter and also Matthew Dellavedova. So right now they're desperate. Dotson, he's not really a point guard, but he's been starting there the last few games, and he's putting up decent numbers. So 14-team leagues, he's definitely worth an ad right now is Dotson. Okoro in this one, 12 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist for Okoro. 5 for 11 from the field, 2 for 3 from downtown. So Okoro, a huge 39 minutes of play for the young rookie that they drafted in the top 10 here in the NBA draft. So he's getting opportunities. He's got an upside, but we got to see more out of him for him to really get a roster spot in most fantasy leagues. A Yogi Pharrell sighting in this one. You know they're desperate. 16 minutes, 9 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist, 4 for 9 from the field. So for Pharrell right now, he's the backup point guard with all the injuries that I mentioned. But once these guys come back, he's probably going to be cut off the team or just have no value. And JaVale McGee, a decent game in this one. 6 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 of 7 from the field, and 0 for 1 from 3. But McGee, he hasn't played consistent minutes, and he's a player right now that probably shouldn't be owned in fantasy leagues unless Andre Drummond went down or something. So that